At the busy airport terminal, people rushed past each other with rolling suitcases and tired eyes. But in the middle of all that noise and motion stood an elderly woman, alone, confused, and trying desperately to communicate. She gestured with her hands, signing words that no one seemed to understand. Travelers passed by without a glance, too busy to notice. Some looked, frowned, and quickly turned away. She wasn't just anyone. She was the mother of one of the city's most successful millionaires. Yet at that moment, with her suitcase at her side and tears starting to form, she looked like the loneliest person in the world. Hey everyone, welcome back to Kindness Stories, where we share real and inspiring stories that remind us what truly matters. If you enjoy heartwarming tales like this one, make sure to subscribe, hit that like button, and leave a comment below to tell us what you think. Your support helps us keep spreading kindness across the world. It all started on a cold evening in December. The airport was buzzing with holiday travelers, people eager to get home to their families. Among them was Margaret, a silver-haired woman in her late 60s. She wore a cream-colored coat and held a small note in her hand that read, Gate C-17. Margaret was deaf. She had lost her hearing years ago, but she had learned to live independently, always finding her way around with patience and determination. This time, however, things were harder. Her phone battery had died, her hearing aid wasn't working properly, and she couldn't find her son, Michael, the successful businessman who was supposed to pick her up. She stood near the baggage claim, signing slowly to people who passed. Some shrugged, some looked confused, and others simply ignored her. Minutes turned into an hour. Her eyes darted around nervously as crowds thinned. Then, a man named Daniel walked in with his young daughter, Lily. He was a single dad, carrying a small duffel bag in one hand and holding Lily's hand with the other. They were returning from visiting his parents for Christmas. Lily noticed Margaret first. "Daddy," she said softly, tugging on his sleeve, "why does that lady look sad?" Daniel glanced over. He saw the woman signing, trying to get someone's attention. He recognized what she was doing immediately, sign language. His late wife, Sarah, had been deaf. He had learned sign language years ago to communicate with her. Without hesitation, Daniel walked up to Margaret with a warm smile. He gently tapped her shoulder so she could see him, and began signing, "Hello. Are you okay?" Margaret's eyes widened in surprise and relief. Her trembling hands moved quickly as she signed back, "I can't find my son. My phone died. I think I'm lost." Daniel smiled and signed, "Don't worry. I'll help you." He asked for her son's name, and she spelled it out, Michaelharpr. Daniel took out his phone and searched for Michael's contact number on social media, hoping to find some information. Meanwhile, little Lily offered Margaret a granola bar from her backpack and sat beside her, holding her hand. Moments later, Daniel found Michael's business website and called the listed office number. A receptionist picked up and said Michael was already at the airport, searching for his mom near another gate. Daniel quickly signed the news to Margaret, who smiled with tears in her eyes. 15 minutes later, a tall man in a blue shirt came running toward them. It was Michael. He looked frantic until his eyes met his mother's. She stood up and hugged him tightly, tears of joy streaming down her face. When Michael looked at Daniel, he was speechless. "You helped her?" he asked. Daniel nodded modestly. "She just needed someone who could understand her." Michael swallowed hard, visibly moved. "I can't believe so many people just walked by. She must have been so scared." Margaret signed something, and Daniel translated softly, "She says she's grateful, and she wants to thank you and your daughter." Little Lily smiled shyly. "You're welcome," she said, and gave Margaret another hug. Michael insisted on driving them home to thank them properly, but Daniel politely declined. "Kindness doesn't need a reward," he said. "Just pay it forward." Michael nodded, deeply touched. But before they parted ways, he asked, "Would you at least join us for dinner sometime?" "My mom would love that." Daniel agreed, and that simple act turned into the beginning of a lasting friendship. Over time, Michael and Daniel worked together to start a community program offering free sign language classes for families and airport staff. The goal was simple: to make sure no one who's deaf or hard of hearing ever feels alone or invisible in public spaces again. Months later, at the grand opening of their program, Margaret stood on stage beside her son and Daniel. She signed a message to the crowd, translated by Daniel. "Kindness is a language everyone can understand. You don't need to hear it, you just need to feel it." The audience stood and applauded. Some cried. Others hugged strangers. And that night, hundreds of people signed up for classes. The truth is, you never know what someone else is going through. A simple act, a smile, a kind word, or a moment of patience, can change someone's entire day. Daniel didn't have money or influence, but he had empathy. And that was enough to make a difference not only in Margaret's life but in an entire community. So next time you're out in the world, take a moment to notice the people around you. Sometimes, kindness doesn't need to be loud, it just needs to be seen. Thanks for watching Kindness Stories. If this touched your heart, please like, subscribe, and share this video to remind others that compassion still matters. Because one small act of kindness can echo farther than you'll ever know.